Today. I hope you're having an amazing day so far. Today we have a bunch of stories, a China Evergrande group update, bribery and corruption in the of journalists and the media by the automotive industry. This is a pretty big to do actually, and I'm not going to be able to read the whole article there, but I can give you a breakdown of some of the things that are going on, and I'll link the article down below in the description below. Facebook told staff it would seal off internal message boards to prevent leaking. Well, you could probably guess what happened. Uh, how Chipotle feels about spending $2 billion a year on labor. There's a video of Jeff Bezos being a complete, I don't know what the nice way to say it is, but he's just a complete jerk to William Shatner. And we'll play the video and the audio if you didn't get to see them go up in space. I got to watch them go up in space. I didn't get to watch them after they landed. And of course, this came across my thing and across my feed, so I wanted to bring it to your attention. Finally, we have a couple of questions and an announcement. So, somebody asked me about why, what I think of the whole know, like, and trust, and why that may or may not be enough for your customer base to deal with you. Another question came from Joe. How do I set up a print on demand? How I set up my print on demand shops online? So I'm going to walk you through that process. And then I have an announcement at the very end about a way that you can work with me and a really awesome group of people that I've been working with in a group for the last, 4 months or so. So stay tuned for that. But first, China, China real estate shares, bonds, shares and bonds hit by Evergrande concerns. Shares and bonds of Chinese real estate companies slid on Thursday, reflecting uncertainty about how a debt crisis will play out in China Evergrande Group and the wider property sector as another developer was hit by a rating downgrade. This continues to be a sliding issue here. But I want to caution everyone to still not panic. But it never hurts to maybe have some cash, on hand for purchasing in case things do go down, because I want you to be able to use that cash to go and make purchases, whether it's shares of stocks or property or things like that. If things, I hope they don't go this way. But more, as they say, more millionaires are made in bad times than in good times. Anyway, Evergrande, which has more than 300 billion in liabilities and 1,300 real estate projects in over 280 cities, missed a third round of interest payments on its international bonds this week. The world's most indebted developer, which has been trying to sell assets to raise funds, appeared to have made small progress towards the goal when Kwame's Home Furnishings Group announced in a filing on Thursday that it will buy out Evergrande Group's 40% stake in their furnishings joint venture for 72 million yuan, or $11.18 million. But in a sign of its continued cash flow problems, municipal officials said Evergrande has yet to make $28 million payment for land it acquired in the northeastern city earlier this year, and that's I guess that's Changchun. Other Chinese developers have also warned they could default on bond payments, and rising risks on Wednesday led rating agency S&P Global to downgrade two of the sector's bigger companies, Greenland Holdings, which has built some of the world's tallest residential towers, and eHouse. S&P also said it would cut their ratings further. On Thursday, Fitch Ratings issued the latest downgrade, cutting Modern Land China company to a single C rating after the developer said it was seeking consent from investors to extend bond maturity by 3 months. Investors have been hoping China would ease monetary policy to stabilize its wobbly recovery, but data on Thursday showed China's annual factory gate prices rising at the fastest pace on record in September due to soaring raw material costs. But the most important policy in the property sector is not monetary policy, but the regulation related to leverage and the bank loan supply to developers and home buyers. Therefore, I think the government is still has the option to loosen those policies to help the property sector. The big question is whether they are willing to do so. So far, their policy stance seems quite firm. On Thursday, sub-index tracking shares of Chinese property developers ended the day 3.88%, or down 3.88%, while the broad CSI 300 blue chip index slipped 0.54%. Property shares have fallen nearly 20% this year, and compared to the 5.7% fall from the CSI 300. JP Morgan analysts said China property shares would remain volatile in the near term. News on the marginal easing will likely cause a short-term rebound, which, however, may not be very sustainable due to the likely ongoing concerns on the offshore bond market. A more sustainable rally may happen in January 2022 when banks have more front-loaded quota to extend credit to developers and mortgages. So, it's definitely not a good sign that any of this is happening. And like I kind of said a little bit earlier, I think it's important that if you have the ability to maybe move to cash, having cash on hand to buy, for more buying opportunities in the near future, might not be such a bad idea. But it's not necessarily we don't want to go selling every asset and then selling the farm or anything like that, but just be aware that like things could continuously have this domino effect that could absolutely affect the entirety of the world, and I don't personally want to see it, but I want you to be prepared for it if something, some opportunities come around because of this, even if it's on a smaller scale than like a global financial crisis like in 2008. So bribery and corruption of journalists and media by the automotive industry. This article, I will link it down below, but this article basically goes into how it talks a lot about Tesla and how Tesla has actually maintained its ability to not have to woo automotive journalists, people, writing reviews and things of that nature. But it talks about like how the automotive journalist industry, the auto industry, let's see, it's hard to write a fair and balanced review report about a car when the auto industry that makes it gives it to you and your family for free for private use, not just for a week, but for years. If you decide to buy a car, you will get a discount of 15% and 30% for all options just for being a journalist. The long haul business class trip to a nice place with a 5-star hotel and $200 dinner and social events are included, and whether you like it or not affect your ability to write fair reviews, articles, and opinions. Since it is not money wired directly to the bank account, many will not call it a bribe, but where is the difference if the net gain in your pocket is the same as if you had received the money directly under the table or in a plastic bag at a garage? There is no difference between the money and the incentives you received affect your daily costs. Now, I've heard listening to Doug DeMuro talk about this with Marquez Brownlee, the MKBHD, on YouTube, and I think it was on the Waveform podcast. They talked about like how Doug had for the longest time decided he wasn't going to accept any cars from manufacturers. He wanted to get it from the people. That way, there was no handcuffs on what he could or couldn't say, or any fear of being in a position of not being in power of what he felt was a quirk and or feature of the car. And if he had something negative to say, he didn't have the fear of like, oh, well, next time they're just not going to give me that car, right? It puts him in that power seat of saying, well, I don't really care if you give me one anyway, because I have a huge amount of followers, and I'll just go borrow one of theirs. They're reaching out to me all the time, and I'll review their car, their version of the car, spend 5 hours with it, and get the review done. But they did mention in that interview that some journalists and car automotive reviewers would actually go and they never buy a car. Apparently, they just jump from car to car to car, and that's how they do their daily get around. Is because they constantly are being fed cars over and over. Now, Doug changed his opinion when the pandemic hit. He changed, he started to accept some press cars just because it was easier. He didn't have to travel. He didn't have, it was a lot easier for him to be able to do it. But he said, he wanted to back off. Now, he has over 4 million subscribers on YouTube, and, he's phenomenal. I love Doug. If you don't watch Doug DeMuro, you should. I could literally just listen to him talk about any car and the quirks and the features and things. But yeah, so this is the kind of stuff that's happening, and the article goes in to talk about how Tesla doesn't have a PR department, and how there's been actually pressure on the automotive journalists to write negative things about Tesla because of the fact that they're not sending out press cars, they're not whining and dining the reviewers. And that kind of stuff. So this article also goes in and talks about how the press cars that they're sending out, in some cases, I don't know if every case, but in some cases are actually being produced on a separate assembly line. So they have way different standards that are being set for those cars rather than the cars that are being sold to you and or I, based on those reviews of things that are like being meticulously like found. So this isn't like, oh, here's the 8th car off the lot or off the line here, give it to this press person and let them figure it out, or even like the 20th, right? Because the first couple of cars are going to have a problem. In this case, they are actually setting up a separate line of cars to be built to send just to press people so they can control what the narrative is, on top of putting money, not directly putting money in the pockets, but making it so that they are in the driver's seat, so to speak, of controlling what is said. Speaking of controlling what was said, Facebook told staff it would seal off some internal message boards to prevent leaking. The change was immediately leaked, because of course it was. This is the internet, and this is stock photo of Mark Zuckerberg explaining something. Who knows? Facebook is restricting access to some staff message boards to prevent leaks. Facebook said some boards that relate to platform safety would be made private. The New York Times reported last week Facebook whistleblower Frances I've never actually had to say her name before. Hogan testified before Congress. Okay, so of course, somebody, decided that if Facebook is going, before Facebook goes and locks things down, maybe we should take some screenshots or something like that. The company told staff it would restrict access to some employee message boards that relate to platform safety and protecting elections, both of which come under the umbrella of quote unquote integrity, per the Times. Some groups would be made private instead of public in the coming months. Facebook said, according to the report, Facebook also said it would go through some integrity-related discussion groups and start removing people that they don't want, that don't work directly on safety and security. The move comes a week after the former employee testified. She left the company in May 2021. Let's see. An engineering director wrote in the announcement, viewed by the Times, that as everyone is likely aware, we've seen an increase in the number of integrity-related leaks in recent months. These leaks aren't representative of the nuances and complexities involved in our work and are often taken out of context, leading to our work to be being mischaracterized externally. Facebook appeared to confirm the change in a statement to the Times and said the move had been in the works for months. In a statement to the Wall Street Journal, Facebook confirmed the authenticity of the announcement viewed by the Times. A Facebook spokesperson told Insider, leaks decrease the effectiveness, efficiency, and morale of the teams working every day to address the challenges that come with operating a platform for billions of people. They can also put employees working on sensitive subjects at risk externally and lead to complex topics being misrepresented or misunderstood. So, and a surprise to no one, the internet is going to lives on, right? So there will be plenty of information that will probably come out over the course of maybe the next couple of weeks to months, or even next couple of years. Especially as we get closer to another election next year, and then in 2 years from then. Look, we operate in the world that we have like created for ourselves, right? And nobody prior to Facebook, I guess to the degree of Facebook, has tried to regulate and police itself with its own discussions about what's right, what's wrong, what people are saying, what should be flagged, what shouldn't be flagged. I mean, they're trying to take an undertaking of something that like nobody in history has been able to do. So I don't necessarily disagree with Facebook's stance here. I do think that it's I feel like, I guess the question is are they doing enough? If you happen to, I don't know if you happen to watch John Oliver last week tonight, he talked about it actually this past week, talking about Facebook misinformation and how like, oh, Facebook's doing a great job with like when it comes to like English speaking stuff, but when it comes to literally every other language, anything that's other than English, they're pretty much just dropping the ball. And like videos where it's originally spoken in English, but then it's translated to Spanish. The Spanish version of the video still exists, but the English version has been flagged as misinformation and not, all that. So, they still have a long way to go in figuring out, how to wrangle all this. And I guess the question becomes like, should it be wrangled? Is this to a certain extent necessary? And will Facebook ultimately be able to survive this pummeling of questioning of like, is what you're doing enough? Is what you're doing right? Is it is it legitimate? And is it good for people as a whole? It sounds like people kind of already know that it might not be that good, or not that good for you in large doses, or not that good for you if you're maybe younger and or maybe following the wrong people or following the wrong messaging or something, but it could be anybody, right? As the 2016 elections with Russian interference, like taking out Facebook ads and things of that nature has shown us, like it could be anybody. It doesn't just have to be, we're not just talking about teenagers with image issues, or image challenges that they're dealing with, right? And looking through that lens, this affects everybody that is a part of the Facebook world. It's a Facebook world, we're just living in it, and it affects all of us. So it'll be interesting to see how Facebook is able to weather this kind of stuff coming out and going forward with it. How Chipotle feels about spending $2 billion a year in labor. The national labor shortage has hit service industries hard as this week's Jolts, or I guess I don't know, Jolt's report showed with a record 4.3 million people quitting jobs led by restaurant and retail employees. Wage inflation is a big focus amid a tight jobs market and record openings. But Chipotle says thinking about labor as a cost is a mistake. It is investing roughly $2 billion a year in labor, and its senior leaders say that is part of long-term return on investment strategy. So I definitely can get behind the idea that when you invest in people, the goal and for the longest time was to keep those people, right? We wanted people to work in the same company for 30 years, or 40 years, and then have have a retirement party and maybe have a pension attached to it. I think I think that creating a culture where people can come up through the ranks is so important. Look, when we were back in the Pardo truck parts days, right? We had a system. I mean, I think there was some room for improvement, but our system was like we took people in. They worked, at the lowest end of the totem pole, working in the warehouse, getting to know the parts, getting to know the people, getting to know the customers when they came in the back to do pickups of what they ordered or ordered up front. And we had many people actually work their way up to go from working in the warehouse to potentially working as the warehouse manager. But the goal was to get to the counter, right? To work with, be front facing with the customers, get another deeper level of understanding of the business and the customer base and the industry, the trucking industry as a whole. And we had programs that every month we brought all of our counter people in, all of our potential counter people in for trainings to learn the line, the different vendors and the different parts and how everything went together, all together. So I think and that was a big investment, right? Like we were actively moving people around to be in our different locations to be able to cover to get them down into our main facility for those trainings. We were actively we invested in making sure that we had the facility to be able to do competent trainings in and things of that nature. So and then once you worked up to the counter, there was opportunities to get up into maybe going out on the road and sales, and then maybe into administration. And we had people that worked there. We had people that worked with us since the early 90s that still work for us today, even as part of Fleet Solutions. So there is, I think there's a lot to be said for looking at labor cost as not a cost, but as an investment of cherry picking the right people that you're going to go to battle with day in and day out. And look, not everyone that you bring into the organization is going to fit that mold, but you're going to be able to find those people if you're willing to pay, offer the right benefits, offer the right career path for them, and give an opportunity for structure. I think that while plenty of articles will tell you you're basically silly if you stay at the same job for more than 2 years in a row. I think that that will eventually come back in some way, shape, or form, because there's only so many people, right? There's only so many hardworking, motivated workforce out there that you can acquire. And as that becomes more and more scarce, the value of those hardworking, motivated people is going to go up, right? And if you want to constantly be in turmoil of like, we got to train more people, And not from a we keep growing standpoint, but from a we're just trying to maintain what we got standpoint, then that's where you need to look at it as an investment in people, and not as a cost that just goes out the window tomorrow. This video was so disturbing. I saw the rocket go up. I saw the rocket land. I saw the shuttle land onto the ground. But I did not get to hang out and watch the completion of and get to hear what they thought, because of the fact that I was here with you doing the EntrepreNEWS at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. So video shows Jeff Bezos interrupting William Shatner's emotional speech to spray champagne. I'm just going to play the video, and I'm hoping that the audio comes through here. Let's see. So basically, William's talking.
Come here. I want one.
So he, let me play one more time.
Is you shooting up? Oh my God. Give me a champagne bottle. Come here. I want one. I want to hear this.
He just cuts him off.
Want a little of this?
Okay. Yeah. So that is.
You want a little of this? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just like got cut off. Yeah, he's like, okay, all right, I'm back to listen, and then somebody else is spraying champagne, and yeah, that is heartbreaking to see. Captain Kurt not able to get his thoughts out after. Being I assume was a customer. I don't know if he actually paid for the ride or not. I'm assuming he paid for the ride, but it just goes to show you that Jeff's a jackass. Like he should not. God, it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. I'm not even that big of a Star Trek fan, and it makes me mad that somebody would treat somebody like that. Words escape me on this one. You gotta do better, Jeff. Like I get it. Like nobody could cancel Jeff Bezos because Jeff is, at the top of the world. Well, it's really Elon Musk's world. He's just living in it. But really, it does give me pause. Like it just shows you. It's like when you go out. And you're like, oh, is the person I'm having a meal with, are they nice? Well, you go and you judge that based on how they treat the wait staff at the restaurant that you're at, or the diner, or wherever you're at, right? How are they treating other people that they owe basically nothing to? And if they are treating them like kind of crappy, then guess what? That says a lot about them, their character, and what they value, right? And I think that. Let's not even talk like the William Shatner, the Star Trek, figurehead, the William Shatner, the celebrity. Like let's just he is a 90-year-old man. He is a customer of your company, and you just cut him off to spray champagne. After you've already done it, Jeff. You've already did it once. You've been there. Act like you've been there. That's the thing. That's what I had to say about that. Act like you've been there. All right. So the question came in today, how do I put together my print on demand stuff, like the shirt I'm wearing right now, or the hat, the Super Entrepreneur hat, or I got stickers over here, like I could reach over here. So, the super entrepreneur stickers and things like that. So the short of it, is I use a combination of WordPress, WooCommerce, which WOO Commerce, which goes as a plugin to WordPress, and I use Printful as the people to do the printing and the shipping for all the products. They have awesome, high quality products. I don't have an affiliate link or anything like that. And I do this because I know how to set it up, right? Like I've been doing web design and web development and stuff like that since 96, 97. So for me, this is a great opportunity to put together a store. WooCommerce is free. They take 0% commission, right? And I set it up through payment through PayPal. So I'm paying Printful, I'm paying the PayPal charge, I'm not paying WooCommerce. WordPress is a one set fee for my hosting. It was like $3 a month or something like that. So to me, that is a way better than trying to set it up through some other site that is going to charge you for those for everything. Like it's going to charge a percentage on top, like on a percentage on top of a percentage on top of a percentage. So what I do is I use WordPress, right? So you get yourself a host. I do have an affiliate link down below for DreamHost, superjoepardo.com/DreamHost. Go check that out. They have tons of you can install WordPress right to it. It offers up email. I think it starts at like $3, less than $3 a month, like $250 something a month. Will get you started with the shared hosting plan. And they have something called Remixer too, which is like kind of like if you're not into WordPress, you could do like a click and drag kind of Squarespace kind of thing for a lot cheaper, but probably not as full featured as Squarespace is. But it's a lot cheaper to get started. So you get WooCommerce, and we install the WooCommerce plugin. You install the Printful plugin into your WordPress, and then you get yourself a Printful account. Again, it's free, and that's how I set it up, rather than going through like a Cafe Press or something to that effect. So shopsuperjoe.com is the site. That's where you can actually get the shirt I'm wearing, the hat, blah blah blah. That's what I do to set it up. Now, if you're interested in seeing a complete like walkthrough video, I could be open to doing that. It would probably take a lot longer to do it, but then I would probably want to spend time on it. But if you are interested in that, hit the like button down below and on this particular video, and I will consider doing that. If you have any questions about what I do with Shop Super Joe or any of my websites, please drop the comments below, and I will definitely get to them. Another question came up is why know, like, and trust isn't enough for getting customers to spend money with you. And the reason, the short of it, is because people want to talk about you or me or themselves, I should say. And that's really the thing. So it's like, to get them, like, they want to, know, you need them to know who you are. They don't necessarily have to like you, but at least like the offer of what what problem you're solving, and trust that you're going to be able to deliver on it, right? So those are the three things everybody knows: know, like, and trust. But it's it's about figuring out who your target avatar, your ideal client is. What problem are they having? What problem are you solving? And speaking directly to that problem, speaking in the language of that, and all that. So if you want to get better at understanding your ideal avatar, I actually have a 64 question free PDF workbook. Go over to superjoepardo.com/avatar to download that. You just drop your email address in, it'll send it right to your inbox, and you can fill out the form, and the form will give you so much information as to how you could better target your ideal client, so you can get more of them. So ultimately, you get more yeses than nos when it comes to making those sales. So that's That's what, when people go on about, oh, no, like, and trust, like, that's cool. That helps. But really, it's about, are you speaking to the problem? Because they care about themselves more than they care about knowing who you are, knowing it more than they know about liking you or trusting you. None of that matters if you're not talking about the specific problem that you're going to solve for that specific customer that's out there. Finally, today, I want to announce that I have finally opened up the Super Entrepreneur Mastermind. So, this mastermind enables you to meet with me and a group of amazing entrepreneurs that I've been working with for the last 4 months, for 4 times a month. For 1 hour. We work on solving what can move your business forward that day. So we talk about, we go around the room, we answer that question, and then we go back and see where we can plug in answers and figure out, like, what could help do that, or what part of our network can we tap into to make that happen, and things like that. And then on top of that, you get to work with me once a month, for on your business for 1 hour, where we dive deep into the specific things that you are having problems with your business that are preventing you from moving forward to growing the business, to maybe helping you get out of your own way if you're having trouble getting there, getting there from here. If you're having struggles with any of the numbers in your business, if you're having struggles with, like, tracking the analytics of your business to better understand where you're at, where you want to go, how you're going to get there. So setting those goals, as well as figuring out, like, marketing issues. If you're having trouble with marketing your business, reaching that ideal client. I mentioned before, getting my free avatar workbook guide over at superjoepardo.com/avatar. You get that, and then we start working together. Things can change dramatically, because we are going to be able to craft a marketing message, a branding message. Maybe it's rebranding the business altogether, and taking it to a whole different place than where you currently are, because maybe you're just missing the mark a little bit, but that little bit, it goes a long way in capturing so many more businesses for you. So if you're a real entrepreneur, you really want to work on your business, you really, or have this really great idea, and you were like, I want to start this business, I want to get it going, and I want to connect with the right people. Come join us. The starting price right now is at $97 a month, and it will be going up probably by the first of the year. So get locked in now, and it'll be $97 going forward. There's also discounts for 6-month and 12-month packages as well. So if you go over to superjoepardo.com/mastermind, you can learn more about it. Reach out to me, drop comments below, email me, joe@superjoepardo.com. I'm very much available to take your questions and help you with whatever issues you have going on in your business, and you'll get that support network that you're looking for to help hold you accountable for building the business that you deserve. I am all about taking your passion and crafting it into a business. It might not be a 1-for-1 match of what your passion is to what the business becomes, but we will figure out the best path to get it so that like as close to what your passion is, the business is, so that we can get you the money. So then we get you the money, then eventually you can start to take more risks and build a 1-for-1 for what that passion is. But it doesn't always work out that way. And I'm not here to sell a box. This isn't a dream. This isn't a one-size-fits-all business thing. You bring the idea, you bring your passion, you bring you, and I will help you craft that business alongside everybody else in the group, meeting once a week. We meet on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. And it's just a great time. There's so many great things that come out of it. Sometimes the tears come out. Sometimes we make huge breakthroughs, make big decisions. It's just been absolutely awesome, and I would love to have you reach out and potentially potentially join us. So if you go to superjoepardo.com/mastermind, if you get to the bottom, you can book a time with me to meet one-on-one for 15 minutes and talk about what, where you're at, where you want to be, and see if this is a good fit for you. And that brings us to the end of the EntrepreNEWS. I appreciate you watching or listening. I'd love to hear what you think down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think in your favorite podcast review or podcast app review section. If it's Apple Podcasts, that's awesome. I'm there, and I definitely am looking at the reviews. So I hope you have an amazing day. Hopefully later today, I will have the Shark Tank preview video for Shark Tank Season 13, Episode 2. And tomorrow, we have Episode 7 of Undercover Billionaire Grant Cardone edition going out, as well as the brand new, Shark Tank episode, season 13, episode 2, will be airing tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. I will have the pitches starting to go live by 9 p.m. Eastern. Between 9 and 11 p.m., all 4 pitches will have gone up. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow on the